All right, good morning. We'll start today seated, however you're comfortable. Get to a place where you feel like you can be still. Use props if you want to, lift the hips a little bit with a blanket or whatever. We won't be here for that long. Close the eyes. Start to lengthen the breath. In and out through the nose. Up and down the back of the throat. And your hands probably just naturally fell somewhere, which is fine. It's always interesting to see if they landed with the palms down or palms facing up. You could even go back and forth between the two to see if one feels better than the other. Palms down is for grounding energy. Palms up is for receiving energy. And you could even do one way and the other one the other way. So as the breath starts to lengthen, you're coming into your Ujjayi breath, finding your rhythm for your practice. Keeping it somewhat audible. Not so much that you dry out the back of the throat. Then blink open the eyes, bring the hands back behind you and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Keeping the legs bent, you'll cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh. So it's just like thread the needle, except you're reclined back with the hands back behind you. And if this is too difficult, come onto your back and just do thread the needle on your back. But if you're comfortable with this, do this. Keep that right foot flexed. So it's not totally relaxed and you're definitely not pointing the right toes. It's just like you're standing on the right foot. Should feel like a nice, gentle hip opening. Depending on the activity you've been doing, maybe you're really feeling it. That's fine too. Set the right foot down, switch sides. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. Set the left foot down and come into Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees wide. Adjust yourself so you're even on the sit bones. You can hang on to the ankles, the inner edges of the feet, whatever's right there. Sit up nice and tall. And we'll stay upright. So imagine as if you're hugging in the thigh bones to allow the knees to release toward the floor. And if they're up high, that's fine too. We're just starting out. Breathe wherever you are. Maybe even close the eyes. Blink open the eyes, bring the knees back together with the hands. Come onto hands and knees, tabletop. For a few rounds of cat-cow breath. Set your hands up however you want, if that's the fingertips forward, to the sides, or back behind you if you want a deeper wrist opening. Then when you're ready, bring the heart forward on the inhale. Round the whole spine on the exhale. And you'll go back and forth on your own, linking our breath with our movement. And finish the round that you're on. Meaning back in a neutral spine, tabletop. Turn the hands back around if you adjusted. that. Come down onto the forearms, stay on the knees. And as you come down onto the forearms, walk the elbows forward so they're a little bit in front of the shoulders. And you might already feel a chest and shoulder opening here. Maybe you bring the head down, maybe the forehead touches the mat. Keep the hips over the knees and hug the belly in a little bit so you don't dip down and let the belly spill out. Lift the head, walk the elbows back so they're right underneath the shoulders. Forearms and hands are shoulder width distance apart. So you can take a look at the shoulders, make sure the fingertips line up with them. Step the feet back, come into forearm plank. And you're firming up the legs so they're helping, hugging the belly in a little bit. You're squeezing the arms together a little bit, but reaching the heart forward. Gaze, it's always nice. If you're looking straight down, look forward a little bit. So maybe top of the mat and just the eyes move. Back of the neck is still long. But if you look forward, it gives you a little bit more length from the navel all the way up through the sternum, but still press back through the heels. So the body's going in like two different directions. Feet are hip width distance apart. Bring them a little bit wider. Bring both heels over to the left. Reach the right arm up for a forearm side plank. Feet are staggered, right foot in front of the left. Press into the edges of the feet to lift the hips up. Scissor those inner thighs. Send the tailbone back, down toward the heels. Turn that right palm to face over the ear and reach the right arm up and over. So you're getting nice and long in the whole right side of the body, but try not to lose the length in the left side. Right forearm comes down to the mat. You're back to forearm plank. Feet a little wider than hip width. Bring both heels over to the right. Right hand can come in a little bit. Left arm reaches up. That gives you a little bit more space for the shoulder, and your body will probably naturally want to do that if that's a good option. So push the mat away from you. Get as long as you can. Turn the left palm to face forward. Reach that left arm up and over the ear. Left forearm down to the mat, back to forearm plank, feet hip width distance apart, one hand at a time, plank pose. Heels go over to the left, reach the right arm up, keep the feet staggered, keep pushing the mat away from you. Squeeze the core in toward the midline. Reach the right arm up and over the ear. Keep the legs working. Right hand comes down to the mat, back to plank. Heels go over to the right. Reach the left arm up. Still pushing the mat away from you. Right shoulder, if it feels like it's going forward toward the top of the mat, bring it back so it's right in place. Reach the left arm up and over the ear. Find a little bit more length. Lift the hips up a little bit more. Left hand comes down to the mat, plank pose, downward facing dog. Feet hip width, maybe a little bit wider. Push the mat away from you, lift the hips up and back. Neck is relaxed. So let the head relax. Maybe you move the head side to side. Maybe you nod the head yes and no a few times. But arms should be pretty firm here, especially after the side planks that we just did. It might be a little easier to feel like the outer upper arms are squeezing in toward one another as the shoulders go up toward the hips. Walk the hands toward the feet at the back of the mat. Find a comfortable forward fold. Keep the feet hip width distance apart. Clasp opposite elbows. The bend in the legs is up to you. Let the head and the neck go. Play with where the weight's falling in the feet. See if you can get it more into the balls of the feet and a little lighter in the heels. Switch the clasp of the forearms. Hands come down to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. 2 more of those. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time, inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Walk the hands forward, back to downward facing dog. Next, inhale, glide forward to plank pose. On the exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet come to the mat, press down firmly into all 10 toes. Inhale up, baby cobra. Finding that length with the long legs and the heart reaching forward. Exhale, release. 2 more of those. Inhale up, maybe a little bigger this time with your next cobra. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale up. Hands are light. Exhale, release. Come to hands and knees. Tuck the toes. Hips go up and back. Down dog. Right leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Left heel goes down toward the mat. The left hip pulls back a little bit. So it's just like down dog. Then straighten the right leg. See if you can lift the right leg up a little higher with the right leg straight. Turn the toes to point down toward the mat so you're leveling off the hips. Step the right foot forward, up between the hands. Find a runner's lunge. You can be on fingertips, just reach the heart forward. Looking forward would probably help. Press back through the left heel. Set that back knee down. Toes can stay tucked or you can untuck them, whatever your preference is. Reach the arms all the way up, low lunge. Reach the left arm forward, the right arm back. So you're coming into a twist, but we're keeping the head over the hips. So typically when we do this, the body wants to lean forward. It's almost like you're reaching back with the right arm, pressing down into the right foot until you feel like you're upright. Head right over the hips, open the chest, hips stay forward, just the chest opens. Reach the arms back up, face forward. Bring the hands down to the mat. Back toes are tucked if they're not already. Lift the back leg. Step back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, glide forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Hands and knees or plank to get there. Left leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Stay even in the arms, the chest, the shoulders. Pull that right hip back. If the right heel lifted, lower it. Straighten the left leg. See if you can lift it a little bit higher with it straight. Now turn all 5 toes on the left foot to point down toward the mat. The leg's probably going to lower because you're adjusting the hips. That's fine. Step the left foot up between the hands. Set the back, or stay in your runner's lunge for a few breaths. You can come up onto the fingertips. Press that right heel back. Reach the heart forward. Now set the right knee down. Reach the arms up. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Open the chest. Keep that left knee pointing forward, both hips pointing forward. See if you can bring the head right over the hips. Reach back with that left arm. Arms reach up, face forward. Hands come down to the mat. Back toes tucked, lift the back knee, step back to plank pose, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale up for your cobra. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, look forward, step, walk, bring the feet up between the hands, come back into a forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Stay looking forward so the chest keeps reaching forward. Step or hop back to plank chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend, maybe up dog this time. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, hug the belly in, lift the heels up high, step, walk, maybe lightly hop the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway with control, chaturanga. Rise up for your back bend. Exhale it back, downward facing dog. Press down into the inner edges of the hands so that you feel like the inside edges of the arms are long. Bend the knees, lift the heels up high, hug the belly in. Hop, step, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead and down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway to chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale it back, downward facing dog. Right leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Keep the left side of the body in down dog. Then straighten the right leg. Turn the toes to point down to level off the hips. Step the right foot up between the hands. Runner's lunge. Rise up to crescent. Left arm reaches forward, right arm reaches back. Maybe stay looking forward so that you can keep the hips forward, lift up out of the waist. And then if you want to change the gaze over to the right without losing the lunge in the right leg, do so, opening up the chest. Maybe you even look back at that right hand. Back to crescent. Reach the arms forward and all the way up. Hands come down to the mat for your runner's lunge. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Bend the knees, sit back, come into chair pose. Rise all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Hug the left knee in toward the chest. So you're standing on the right leg. With the left knee hugging in, focus on the right side of the body. Press down into the right leg, right sole of the foot. Lift up out of the waist. Lift the chest up higher. Right hand, right hip. Grab the ankle of the left foot and bring it up high above the knee or below the knee. If you're going above the knee, get it up as high as you can to the inner thigh. Before you let go of the hand, press the foot and the inner thigh into one another. They're holding each other. Then reach the arms all the way up. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. Hip points point forward, so if that left hip's opening up to the side and making the hips askew, then point them forward. Reach up, stand tall on the right leg. Bring the hands together like prayer, right in front of the heart. Point the left knee forward, flex the left foot. Start to bend the right leg, step back into a lunge. Keep the chest low, so you're hovering low over that front thigh. Reach the arms back behind you, building a little bit of heat in this right leg. Left hand comes down to the mat, right arm reaches up. Find a twist in your runner's lunge. Try not to let the left hip relax. Hug both hips in toward the midline. Legs are nice and strong as you open up. Right hand comes down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Vinyasa is there if you want it, or you go back to downward facing dog. Either way, we'll meet there. Left leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Be mindful of the right side of the body. Don't let it go with you. Keep it firm. Left leg straightens. Point all 5 toes to point down toward the mat. Step the left foot up between the hands. Runner's lunge. Crescent pose. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Find that twist. Keep the hips pointing forward. Use the gaze if you need to square the hips forward, and then open the chest. Stay looking forward if you feel wobbly, or create more of a challenge. Look to the left, or maybe even at that backhand. Keep the lunge in the front leg. Keep pressing back with the right heel. Zip up the lower belly. Reach the arms forward and up. Crescent pose. Hands come down to the mat. Right foot steps forward to meet the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on the inhale. Bend the knees. Reach up. Come up to standing. Bring the right knee in toward the chest. Push that left thigh, the standing thigh, back a little bit. Make sure you're using the inner edge of the foot, the outer edges of the foot, the standing foot, so you feel nice and even. Keep the right hip level with the left. Left hand goes to the left hip. Grab the ankle, maybe the foot. Bring the right foot as high up as you can get it. Above the knee or below is fine too. When you feel ready and the right sole of the foot's pressing into the thigh and the thigh back into the foot, reach the arms all the way up. Find your tree pose on this side. So that outer left hip needs to hug in and the lower belly needs to lift up. Reach up. Stay grounded in the left leg. Hips are even, pointing forward. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Right knee points forward, like you're gonna take a big step up. Start to stretch that right leg back. Coming into a lunge, land on the ball of the back foot. Stay low with the chest till you get your footing. Then reach the arms all the way up. Crescent. Right hand comes down underneath the right shoulder. Left arm reaches up. Keep both outer hips squeezing in, that left knee pointing forward. Press back with the right heel. Left hand comes down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Choose if you want to take the vinyasa or go straight to dog. Right leg goes up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the right leg. Bring all toes to point down toward the mat. Then step the right foot forward up between the hands. Reach the arms all the way up. Crescent pose. Left arm forward, right arm back. Find that twist. Play with the gaze. Keep the lunge in the front leg. Reach the arms all the way up, crescent facing forward. Hands down to the mat. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, chair pose. This time, shift the weight over to the right foot. Cross the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. So you're opening up the hip a little bit more. And then you'll grab the sole of the left foot with the left hand. Come into tree pose. See if you can bring that foot up high to the inner thigh. Take your time. Rushing sometimes builds a little too much momentum and then you'll lose your balance. Reach the arms all the way up. Back to your tree pose. Nice, tall, long right leg. Lift up through the chest. Reach the fingertips up toward the sky. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Point that left knee straight forward. Keep the energy in the left foot. Bend the standing leg. Come back to a lower lunge. Keep the hands together in front of the heart. Breathe here for a couple of breaths, firing up the legs a little bit more. Left hand comes straight down to the mat. Right arm reaches up for that twist. Turn the toes to the right. This probably feels nice for the hips. You can stay right here. If you want to take it up a notch, you could take a version of side plank, either the feet staggered like we did to start class, or you can stack the feet. Get long, lift the right hip up, push the mat away from you. Maybe reach that right arm up and over the ear. Right hand comes down to the mat, maybe a vinyasa. Left leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Keep the chest even. Straighten the left leg. Turn the toes to point down to level off the hips. Step the left foot up between the hands. Crescent, take your time. Right arm reaches forward. Left arm reaches back. Back to crescent pose. Hands come down to the mat. Step the right foot forward, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit back, find chair pose, Utkatasana. Weight shifts over to the left foot, right ankle, top of left thigh. Take your time. Once you get there, hands come together right in front of the heart. Keep pressing into the hands to keep the chest open. Play with where you want the hips. Maybe they go a little bit lower. Right foot stays flexed. So sometimes here, the hips kind of wobble all over the place. See if you can bring a little bit of control. Coming into tree pose, left hand can go to the left hip, right hand to the right foot, come to standing, place that foot where you need it to be for tree pose on this side, and you can experiment, take your time. Once you have the sole of the left foot connected with the inner left thigh or wherever you have it, reach the arms all the way up. Find a strong, tall tree pose. Take up space. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Point that right knee forward, flex the foot, step back to a lunge, keep the chest low. Breathe here for a couple of breaths, building the heat and strength in the legs. Right hand comes down underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Left knee still pointing forward. Push the mat away from you. Now turn the toes on both feet over to the left. Feel a nice stretch in the hips maybe. Stay here or play with side plank. Wherever you want that left foot, in front of the right, stacked. Lift the hips up. If that left hip is rolling up toward the sky, you want to point it forward and then point the tailbone back toward the heels. Left arm reaches up and over the ear. Hands come down to the mat. Any way you want. Back to dog. Right leg goes up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the right leg, turn the toes to point down. Step that right foot up between the hands. Runner's lunge, take it up to crescent. Left arm reaches forward, right arm reaches back. Spend some time, see how it changes with each cycle. Find where your edge is. Crescent pose, facing forward. Hands come down to the mat. Step the left foot to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, take chair pose. Shift the weight over to the right foot, left ankle, right thigh. Hands can come in front of the heart, or you can bring left hand to left knee, right hand to left ankle. Sometimes that helps you get a little deeper in the hips and create, put the shin where you want it to be. Maybe it makes a little bit easier for stability, but maybe a deeper, more intense opening for the hip. Okay, we'll take this to tree pose. Right hand to right hip, grab the left foot, bring the left sole of the left foot high up to the inner thigh unless you're staying below the knee. We're just trying to keep the foot away from the right knee because we don't want to apply pressure going sideways. Find tree pose when you're ready. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Stand tall. Keep the hands pressing into one another. Open the chest to the left. You won't go that far. We're just playing with your balance a little bit. You have to stay rooted in the inner edge of that right foot, inner edge of the right leg. Lift the lower belly. Then come back to center, nice and slow. Hands back in front of the chest, gaze goes forward. Left knee points forward, flex the left foot, step back to a low lunge. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up. Feet hip width distance apart. Feel free to adjust them if you need to take a wider stance. Toes go over to the right. Feel that nice opening in the hip. Side plank, same version you took the first time, or maybe you change it up. You could even bring the sole of the right foot to the inner edge of the left leg, taking tree pose in your side plank. Just make sure that left hip is active, like it's trying to reach up toward the sky. And that left foot's like you're standing on it. Reach the right arm up and over the ear wherever you are. If you have tree, maybe play with keeping it for plank. Then step it back, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left leg reaches up and back, opening up the hip, bending the knee. Straighten the leg, toes point down. Step the left foot up between the hands. Crescent. Right arm forward, left arm back. Few breaths here to explore. Crescent facing forward. Hands to the mat. Right foot steps forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Right ankle, top of left thigh. Hands together like prayer, right in front of the heart, or maybe right hand, right knee, left hand, right ankle. Keep squaring the hips back behind you. Reach from the navel up through the chest. Slow transition to tree pose. Left hand, left hip helps. Grab the inner edge of the right foot. Come up to standing. Place the foot on the top inner thigh, as high up as you can go, or stay below the knee. Reach the arms all the way up. Come into your tree. So after that last stretch, it should feel pretty good to hug that outer left hip in and lift up from the lower belly. Keep the gaze looking forward. Bring the hands together, down in front of the heart. Press into the hands to keep some space across the chest. Slowly, just from the chest up, open the chest to the right. Play with your balance. If you get a little bit wobbly, that's fine. Come back to center. Right knee points forward, flex that right foot, step back to a lunge, hovering the chest over that front thigh. Right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Keep the left knee pointing forward, stretch back with that right heel, open the chest. Toes go over to the left. Side plank, any version. Maybe playing with tree pose, just an option. So that left foot can come to the inner edge of the right leg. Lift that left arm up, press that bottom hip up, and it's just like you're standing on the right leg. Push the mat away from you. Turn that left palm to face forward, reach the arm up and over the ear. Maybe you keep tree if you have it for plank. Step the left foot back, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Right leg reaches up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the right leg, turn the toes to point down. Step that right foot forward up between the hands. Take your time, come up to crescent pose. Playing with the same flow, but we'll add on. Left arm forward, right arm back. So you can feel how the outer hips have to hug in toward the midline. You hug in the belly. This is all helping for your balancing while you're standing on one leg. Reach the arms back up and forward, or back up crescent pose. This time, hands come down to the mat. Take standing splits. Shift the weight forward to the right foot, lift the left foot. It's like a big, long step. Left foot next to the right foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, chair. Left ankle, top of right thigh. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. stay here, or hands to the ankle and the knee, or maybe you play with bringing the hands down to the mat. They don't have to touch. You could just do fingertips. If you have blocks, you can use those. Keep the right leg like chair. Maybe you play with hooking that left foot to the outer edge of the right arm, looking forward. Definitely a deeper, more intense hip opening. Don't take it too far. Hands come back in front of the heart if they're not already there. Tree pose, right hand, right hip, grab that left foot, bring it up high. Stand tall in the right leg, reach the arms all the way up. This time, hook the thumbs, spread the fingers. So as you hook the thumbs, it's like the arms want to spread apart. And then reach up and over to the left. So you're arcing the right side of the body, finding a little bit more length. Back up to center, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Point that left knee forward, step back to a low lunge, hover the chest. Left hand down, right arm up. Right hand comes down to the mat. Hop the back foot in so that you can seal the whole sole of the foot down. Straighten the front leg, push the hips back so you square them. Look forward halfway, then fold over the legs. Parsvottanasana. Now bend the right leg, step back with the left leg, set the back knee down, untuck the toes, bring the right hand inside of the right foot, heel toe the right foot out so you're in this lizard lunge. Hands can stay down underneath the shoulders. You could even come down onto the forearms. If you have a block underneath the chest, and bringing the forearms down to that might be nice. Tuck the back toes. See if you can lift the back leg, taking this into a more active variation. So you press back through the left heel, you keep reaching the chest forward. One hand at a time. If you're down low, come back up onto the hands. Keep reaching the chest forward. Three-legged down dog. Reach that right leg up and back. Open up the hip, bend the knee, then straighten the legs. Step the right foot through between the hands. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up for that twist. Turn the toes over to the right. Side plank any version. You could even step the right toes back behind you. Press into the left edge of the foot. Lift the hips up. Reach the right arm up and over. Right arm reaches up, come back to side plank. If you took that option, hands come down, vinyasa, or skip it. Settle into your downward facing dog. Find your center. We'll do the other side. Left leg reaches up, open up the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the left leg, turn the toes to point down, step the left foot up between the hands, crescent pose when you're ready. Right arm forward, left arm back. Find that twist. Nice strong legs. Keep the hips forward. Crescent pose, face forward. Hands come down to the mat. Take your time, standing splits. Shift forward, reach the right leg up. Right foot next to the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Right ankle, left thigh. Shift the weight over, cross the ankle on top of the thigh. Bring the hands together in front of the heart, or hands on the knee and the ankle, or maybe you play with bringing the hands down toward the mat. You can stay on the fingertips. If you go down toward the mat, keep that left arm inside of the right foot. Maybe the toes hook to the outer edge of the left arm. The hands are down. Bring the hands back together in front of you for prayer. Take your time. Let's come into tree pose. Left hand, left hip, grab the foot, bring it up high. Stand tall on the left leg. Reach the arms up. Hook the thumbs the weird way. Lift up. Root down through the left leg. Reach up through the right fingertips and then take it over to the right. Come back to center, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Point that right knee straight forward. Keep the activity in the right foot as you step back to a lunge, hovering the chest low over that front thigh. Hands come down to the mat. Reach that or bring that left foot out wide so the left hand can come inside of the foot. Set the back knee down, untuck the toes. Stay here, or you can play with coming down onto the forearms. Keep the left toes pointing forward, left knee pointing forward. Tuck the back toes, extend the back leg. You can keep the back knee down if this is too intense. One hand at a time, come back up onto the hands. Keep reaching the chest forward. Three-legged down dog. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the leg, turn the toes to point down. Step the left foot forward up between the hands. Back to your runner's lunge. This time, hop the back foot in, straighten both legs, pull the hips back, come up halfway, and then fold over the left leg. Back into your runner's lunge. Bend the left leg, step back with that right foot so you have a nice long stride. Right hand down, left arm reaches up. Find the twist in your lunge. Then turn the toes over to the left. Side plank, tree with the side plank, or maybe you step the left toes back behind you, nice and light. Lift the hips up, reach the left arm up and over the ear. Side plank if you took that option, hands down, last vinyasa if you want it. Make it a good one if you take it. Once you get to downward facing dog, child's pose. Bring the knees down, big toes together, bring the forehead down. Arms can reach out in front of you or back behind you. Start to make your way to seated. Be gentle, use the hands. Scoot yourself forward so you're more toward the top of the mat. Set yourself up for bridge pose. Lie down onto your back. Walk the feet in until the heels are underneath the knees. Feet hip width distance apart. Press into the feet. Lift the hips up. Maybe interlace the fingers underneath you. Just find some strength in the arms so you can press them down into the mat. Lift and spread the chest. Keep the legs active. Imagine you're squeezing a block between the inner thighs. Slowly release. Bring the hips back down to the mat. Rest here, a couple breaths. Keep the arms down by the sides, press into the feet, lift the hips up. Either interlace the fingers underneath you, leave the arms where they are, or bring the hands back by the ears. Come onto the top of the head, plug in the shoulders, fire up the legs, using the arms and the legs at the same time. Maybe you push yourself up to Urdhva. If you feel ready, it's a deep back bend. We didn't do a whole lot of back bending, but if you feel like the body's ready for it, take it. Chin to chest if you're all the way up. Set yourself back down. Rest here. Couple breaths. Enjoying the sensations of the body after a back bend. Third and final round, bridge, urva, even supported bridge. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, decide where you want to go. Once you find it, see if you can find a little bit more space and a little bit more breath. Slowly start to set the hips back down onto the mat. Take your time wherever you are coming out of that back bend. Grab the knees, hook the ankles, bring the knees out wide, and you can rock side to side. So this is an easier transition out of a back bend that just gives us a little bit more time for the spine to settle. Set the left foot down onto the mat, hug the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg out in front of you. Bring that right knee across the body, coming into your spinal twist. Shift onto the left side of the body. Reach the right arm out. Come back to center, sole the right foot on the mat. Bring the left knee in toward the chest. Extend the right leg out in front of you. Cross that left knee over the body, shifting onto the right body. Reach back with the left arm. Find your twists. Back to center, both feet on the mat, still lying on your back. Take happy baby, reach through the insides of the legs, grab the outer edges of the feet, keep the hips down, whole spine down. So it should feel like the back is spreading. You can rock side to side. Feet are flexed. You can press back onto the feet to open up the hips a little bit more. They're pretty open. So hopefully this feels better than usual. Then hug the knees in toward the chest. Close the eyes. If you want to bring the nose up toward the knees, you're welcome to, curling up in a tight little ball. Then take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. Sip in a little bit more air through the mouth. And exhale, Shavasana. Extend the legs out in front of you. Arms come down by the sides. If you'd rather take a seated meditation, roll over to one side and use the hands to bring you up to seated. Trying to stay in this calm, present place. Feeling the effects of your practice in the physical body and how it moves through the subtle body, changing your whole day. If you're in a seated meditation, stay right where you are. If you're in Shavasana, start to find small movements in the body. Reach the arms overhead, finding a nice long stretch. You'll walk the feet in, roll over to your right side. Use the hands to bring yourself up to an easy cross-legged seat. Keeping the eyes closed, finding a nice tall meditation seat. Feeling the breath come back. On your next inhale, breathing in, my mind is open. And on the exhale, my heart is at peace. A couple more times on your own. My heart is open on the inhale. My heart is at peace. Bringing this balance into your day. Bring the hands together in front of you, bowing the head to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you.